Hey guys, welcome back for part 3 of the new Ultimate series. Originally this was like a 5-book series, but I'm just condensing it down to 4. Because whenever I do a spill on a series, it's more of a summary versus a step-by-step, page-by-page telling of a story. And if you're just getting here, I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist, so it won't be like you're just starting in the middle of a story. Alright, so picking up from where we left off, Valkyrie, Zarda, and Carol Danvers have taken down the Ultimates, all except Black Panther. And they did this because they were all under the influence of Amora, or so it seemed. Because Carol Danvers is still 100% herself, she slips Hawkeye a piece of Cap's shield to cut himself free. And as soon as Clint gets that one hand free, he gives her this crazy jab. And if I had to guess why, it's probably for shooting him in the face. But all the while that Carol was trying to get everybody loose, she was trying to tell Clint that she had Black Panther and the Jungle Twins in on the ambush as well. And immediately after that, the invasion gets flanked. And it's Black Panther, Kazar, and Shayna coming to free the Ultimates that have been held captive. And really what their objective is here is to get Captain America, Hawkeye, and Iron Man away from this invasion so they can regroup and come up with a plan. Because especially taking on Zarda without Thor or anybody, like any heavy hitters, is a bad idea. So when they finally cut Tony free, he's the last one that they gotta get out. Clint looks to T'Challa, who is mute, and says, "Tell me you got a way out of here." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, you can't talk. I forgot." So then T'Challa just points up, and this giant man who just scoops everybody up and just walks away. And Zarda's not done. She's ready to go right after them. But Clint pulls a grenade from Carol's belt, throws it at Zarda, and is like, "Hey, it was great working with you." And that slows her down a little bit, but Amora keeps her from pursuing them as they leave, telling her to stick with the invasion. And so we skip over to Thor, who's in Valhalla with Hela. So now keep in mind, Hela made a deal with Thor that if he would sleep with her, give her an heir to her throne, that she would release him from Valhalla so he can go back to his love Valkyrie. And Thor's pissed. He's like, "I kept up my end, so let me go." And Hela's like, "Yeah, I would if I could, but I can't." Because really, she can't release anyone from Valhalla. Someone has to die in his place for him to come back. And that's a law that Odin set in place. So Thor's then like, "How about I kill you? That's a death. That should let me out." And mind you, her back's been turned this whole time. But when she turns around, she asks Thor, "Is it worth killing your unborn son?" And mind you, this whole conversation is like some morning after type of quarrel. Just something little. Thor's really just getting up, getting his clothes on. And he looks over at her. And she damn near ready to give birth overnight. And like any man would be, Thor is completely confused, but Hela explains to him that the time in Valhalla doesn't work like it does in Asgard, or Midgard for that matter, telling him that minutes on Earth could be weeks or decades in that realm. So from there we're going to skip back to Earth while Thor is trying to figure out how he's going to pay child support for the next 18 hours. We pretty much see what's left of the Ultimates at the Triskelion. They're gathering themselves and getting ready for a counterattack. And right here we have Carol telling Clint that the real mission really is to recover Zarda and Valkyrie. And she explains to him the only reason she wasn't hypnotized as well because she had her night vision contacts in, which blocked out Amora's hypnosis. So after talking to Carol, Clint has a better understanding on where she was coming from with the whole plan. Not to say that they're buddy-buddy right here, but at least they're on better terms. But right after Clint has that conversation with Carol, Cap approaches Clint, telling him that he has a plan for their counterattack. And Cap doesn't beat around the bush right here. He tells Clint that in this plan that Clint will be playing a huge part. Like if I had to use a sports analogy, like, down to that final buzzer, he's passing him the rock, telling him, and I quote, "You're taking the shot of a lifetime." So immediately after that, we got wheels up, all hands on deck, everybody they can get a hold of for the Ultimates. Even got Iron Man carrying a tank, for crying out loud. And once again, they really got to bring out everything that they've got. Because think about it, with Hulk MIA and Thor dead, you're missing 2 heavy hitters who could just mow through dozens of people at a time. But I don't exactly remember why Giant Man didn't come back out for the 4th quarter. But either way, Cap calls for Hawkeye to take that shot of a lifetime, and he does not disappoint. Hanging upside down from a moving chopper, Hawkeye hits him more right in the heart. And this was pretty much Captain America's way of executing the plan that Carol Danvers was mentioning earlier, taking out Amora so you can get Valkyrie and Zarda back. And Valkyrie's out of it for a little bit, but it doesn't take her long to put 2 and 2 together and know that Loki, who was trying to make it seem like he was on her side and the only one that understood her, was really one that was using her as a means to an end. And she goes for him full force with full intention of killing him. But she doesn't get far and Loki disarms her pretty easily. Because keep in mind, Loki and Amora are the reason why she has powers in the first place, so they're not going to make Valkyrie more powerful than they are. And to add insult to injury, he's doing this with Thor's hammer, which he took back on that rooftop battle with the Defenders. And as for the sword that Amora gave to Valkyrie, he drives it right through her. So now I'll say this about Loki. Even though a lot of times that his tricks and schemes may not have a full point to it, maybe in the big scope, every step of his plans has a meaning or leads into something else. Just that a lot of the time he'll set dozens of things in motion to see how they pan out, but he always has an idea for what he will do for every instance. So at this moment, killing Valkyrie, he just didn't do it for no reason. Like if she falls and Cap catches her, we find out in her final breath that Loki killed her to release Thor, still keeping them separate from one another, placing Valkyrie with Hela and bringing Thor back to the land of the living. And when Thor gets back, he is pissed because this has to be one of, if not the dirtiest trick that Loki's pulled on Thor like ever. But that'll do it for this one, guys. I do want to say, I know that some of you are probably thinking with that arrow that Amora took to the heart, why didn't she exchange for Thor? I'll answer that in the next video. I don't want to spoil it just yet. Don't forget to hit that like button. Those help the page a lot. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you can catch a spill every week. Also, I want to announce that the DopeSpill Gaming page will be going up this week as well too. I'll put all the links up so you can head over there and subscribe. Just to forewarn you though, there's going to be a whole lot of Injustice videos. I just beat the game, so I got Darkseid, Brainiac, and my Superman's like a level 20 now. And I usually don't talk a lot of DC, but that'll probably be my outlet for a little bit. But either way, leave your comments below. We'll chop it up either here or on the new page. And that'll do it for this one. All right, later.